Lucky Manchester United. Oh my goodness. We couldn't be any more lucky today, I tell you. But I'm smiling because we got the win. And that is the most important thing. I'm acting like I'm some kind of poet, and I know it. Listen, Brighton Hove Albion 2, Manchester United 3. We did not deserve that, but I would take that all day long. Yes, Manchester United have beaten Brighton Hove Albion at the death away at the Amex. It's finished 3-2 to Manchester United, 3 points on the board finally. I say finally, it's only the second game of the season, but we obviously started a week late than everyone else, most other teams, should I say. So we're always playing catch up. And we got away with it today. We got away with it today. You know what? Footy Live, I'm going to put the link into the description soon. I'm not going to be here long because I got to head out to my goddaughter's birthday. But I'll put the link in the description very shortly, actually. And you can refresh the stream and join. Or I might just put it into the comments, actually. I might put it into the comments. But yeah, listen, Manchester United, we needed it. We needed that win, that victory, those 3 points. No matter how it came. The 3 points was the most important thing. I don't care how, whether it was scruffy, and it's all legal, in it. When you got VAR, you can't say cheat, you can't say X, Y, Z. The reality is, we took the 3 chances that we were given. Brighton failed to take theirs, and that's why we're lucky, because it wasn't through our great defending or great tactical nous or great goalkeeping, other than David De Gea making a late save, which seemed like we won us the game before Solly March got his equalizer even later. You're thinking Brighton's missed a hell of a lot of chances, or they created a few openings where they should have scored. They hit the woodwork 5 times. Yes, some was from outside the box. A header that wasn't that dangerous. David De Gea, I think he tipped onto the bar, but then a couple of chances late on. One was early on, actually, for Solly March, where he gets on the left hand side and shoots it across the goal, hits the inside of the post. And I'm thinking it's in, and it comes out across the goal on the other side. So we got lucky there. And then I think it was Trossard late on as well, again on the left-hand side, our right-hand side, and smashes the crossbar. So we were riding our luck. And my biggest, I'll get some people in the stream soon. My biggest issue with the game was our decision-making, our execution. The Brighton were playing on the counter-attack at times, and I felt in the first half, I was watching it, and I was like, about 10 minutes in, I was like, they're cutting us open too easy. And I say cutting, it wasn't incisive passing, but they were just able to move the ball from back to front, really without any pressure. You know, one person will get the ball, and you get one of our attackers closing them down. And then they just knock it off to the other defender. They get closed down, they knock it off to someone else. And before you know it, they're nearly at the edge of our box, maybe crossing from deep. You know, we obviously know Lamptey, what a threat he can be. He was one who won the penalty. But other than that, I think we handled him pretty well. You know, our left-hand side was probably the most successful part of the game. But the right-hand side was getting peppered. We couldn't string 2 passes together between Wan-Bissaka, Pogba, Greenwood. They were holding on to the ball for too long, losing the ball, misplaced passes. And that's where a lot of the threat came down our right-hand side. Our left-hand side, as I said, I think it was pretty solid from back to front. And I know the penalty was conceded on our left, but that was because I think it was a stray pass or a loss of possession from Wan-Bissaka on our right, and they quickly switched it, and it was Bruno having to try and get back and concede a penalty. But I think what our biggest issue, especially the first half, where we were very, very poor throughout the first half, from the start to finish, was that our pressing which wasn't there. We were allowing Brighton too much time on the ball and then trying to break on them. And it was like our passing was off, our touch was off. You know, Martial and Pogba, their touches weren't great. Bruno Fernandes and Marcus Rashford, their decision-making was poor. I think there was one point where Marcus Rashford had Luke Shaw on the overlap. And I'm sitting there like, all right, overlap, pass it. And he doesn't. And he obviously is hoping maybe a defender runs with Luke Shaw and then he can open up for the shot. But they've got like 2 men there. So Luke Shaw made a run, wasn't found. Rashford still got the defender in front of him. and he ends up having to pass it across the box. So I think just our decision making in the final third was poor, and our ball retention on the right hand side, deep and further forward, was poor as well. 40 Agenda says second consecutive match where world class, obviously question mark, Pogba gets subbed off. Any concerns? No, I'm not concerned because he is a quality player. He is, for me, a world class player. I mean, I'm glad you put the question mark, because I guess the fact that I'm maybe saying he's world class, he's got world class ability, 100% without doubt. Is he world class? Well, the consistency is what determines that. So maybe if someone argues not because of consistency, I'm not going to fight them. But he's definitely got world class ability. Am I concerned? No, because one, we've got a bit more strength and depth in that position. You know, a couple of years ago, Pogba was our only creative player within the midfield. That if he wasn't on form, there's no chance of us winning a game or creating any chances, etc. Now that we've got Bruno, who did create a few openings for Martial, and he miscontrolled the ball, Rashford straying offside, and I think he actually created Rashford's goal, which we'll get onto in a second. And then we've got Van de Beek as well. So I'm not too concerned because we've got strength and depth now. But of course, I want him to get back to his best as soon as possible. I think there's still a few players who just Mackin lack sharpness. You know, as Mo Wada says, Martial and Pogba can't play any worse. Certain passes, you're like, you know, it's an easy pass. You easily make that. And I think it's just sharpness. He hasn't lost his quality in, 2 months. He hasn't lost all that quality. Martial, the ball sometimes is bouncing off him. His touch is not secure. You know, there's a couple of times where he's shimmied past a few players, but there's other times where he's losing easy possession. That's down to lack of match sharpness. I spoke about Marcus Rashford, I think it was probably after the Crystal Palace game or maybe after the Luton game in preparation for this. And I said, I want to see Marcus Rashford running at his man, going, you know, making those runs in behind his fullback and putting them under pressure. And I think he did that today. I was pleased with how, you know, the threat that he offered down that left-hand side. And I was also pleased with how Shaw performed as well. You know, Shaw won the free kick that led to the equaliser, which was an goal in the end. Brilliant delivery from Bruno, to be fair. Dipped down at the back post. Matic passes it across. And it was actually the own goal in the end. Maguire was there to tap it in, but it came off dunk. And then the second, and actually before that, I think Greenwood had a goal disallowed for offside. Marcus Rashford had straight offside, passed the ball across the box, and Greenwood slotted it in, but it was offside. So Marcus Rashford was just offering a bit more going forward than I've seen, let's say, post-lockdown since he came back from the injury. And then you've got the goal. Did Marcus Rashford? Yeah, he scored a goal. He was offside as well. I think it was good play from down the left-hand side. Again, I told you, everything's coming down the left-hand side. Was it Greenwood or Shaw who crossed it in the end? I can't actually remember, to be honest. But it was crossed across the box, and Marcus Rashford taps in, but he had just strayed. It was Greenwood, but I think he was trying to stay in line with the ball, but his right forehead strayed, and he was offside and taps it in. But it was just a bit more threat in that second half. And we started the second half much better because we were pressing from the front, forcing Brighton to go long. And then we will obviously regain possession and go again, whereas we weren't doing it in the first half. We get the goal, a good ball down the inside of the right centre-back. Yeah, I think it was the right centre-back. Marcus Rashford gets it, chops inside. Could have been Ben White, but chops inside, sends him on the ground, chops inside again, comes back onto his left foot, 2-1. And I'm thinking, all right, where we've now started the second half where we're on the front foot, let's ram home on our advantage. Let's get a third. And we just go back into our shell. We go back into our shell and allow Brighton to come on, and we're trying to hit them on a counter-attack, and we're unable to do it. We didn't really create that many more chances after that. But that's because we took our foot off the gas, and we do this. You know, we're 1-0 down, we start to attack. We're 2-1 up, we drop back and defend. Let's kill the game. Kill the game. Stay on the front foot and kill the game. Is it a fitness issue? I'm going to say no, because then Brighton are creating opening after opening. We're just defending. We brought on Fred to solidify it because and take off Pogba. Then we brought on Bailly to replace Greenwood to go to a back 3/back 5. But they're still getting crosses in. We're having to clear it. Cross, clear. A chance gets created on the left-hand side. We're still not solid. we need to attack sometimes is the best form of defense. You go the other side and you kill the game, and we just didn't do that. And then, as I said, David De Gea makes that save. I'm thinking, whew, we got away with it. We got away with it. But we didn't, because another chance gets created, cross comes in, and Oli marches at the back post, scruffy header. But I'm thinking right there, deserved victory. Deserved victory for, draw. Deserved draw for Brighton. They were knocking and knocking, and they finally answered. But what happens? The equaliser, and what do? We go forward straight away. Where was that urgency at 2-1? Why do we have to be losing or drawing the game to go in search of more goals? That's not the way we should be playing football. And we go forward and we create an opening. We win the corner from Van der Beek down the left-hand side. Ball comes in. I'm actually glad that we scored 2 goals from set pieces, because we've been poor attacking set pieces. And we got the first goal from a set piece. We got the second one. The ball comes into the side from Bruno Fernandes, I believe it was his corner. And to be fair, I think Maguire might score that header, because he heads it with a fair amount of power. And obviously Maupay jumps up, puts his hand, and it hits his hand and loops to the back post, where I believe it might be Solly March or Connolly, one of them, heads it off the line. But if Maupay doesn't actually put his hand up, I think there's enough power in that, and it looks like it's on target to actually go straight in. So I think we didn't deserve to win the game, but in that moment we deserved to score. And Maupay did what he did, and he conceded a penalty from that. I'll come to you in a second, Tom. I see you in the back. Guys, if anyone wants to join, I'm just going to put the StreamYard link in the comments as well. I'm not going to be here for long, probably another 10 minutes, and we just get a few of you lots of views if you want to join. And then, yeah, obviously Maguire was certain. I think he didn't even have a concern. He knew that was going to be a penalty, because obviously he's right there in front of it. The final whistle's blown, so I'm thinking, for flip's sake, we've drawn the game, drawn more points. And when you draw a game right at the death, it feels even worse. It feels like a loss. But I couldn't really complain, because we did not deserve to win the game. And of course, they check on the VAR as it does, and you see Maupay's throwing his arms up, and he's distraught because he knows he's cost his team. And Bruno Penandes does what Bruno Penandes does. You know, people want to talk about penalties, but all penalties cannot. All penalties can't be scored. Jorginho had a penalty last week against Liverpool, and it was saved. I know, what's his name? Ayew had a penalty that was saved by De Gea, but of course that was retaken. I was confident. I was so confident. Bruno steps up and puts that into the back of the net. I'm going to bring Transfer Tom and Shane into the stream. 1 second before you go. Couple of comments here from Mowad. Our press at the moment is horrible. I'm sure Ollie's working on it. And Rodney says, teams should be looking at United's right-hand side as cash money right now. Wan-Bissaka is good one-on-one, but that side always gets targeted. I'm going to come to Tom first. What's your thoughts on the game? I said we've got about maybe 5-6 more minutes left. So, yeah, what's your thoughts on the game?
Wow. Just wow. Like, no words at all. You know, it had everything. You could say that game had everything bar a red card. That was it. It had offsides. It had penalties, drama, everything. That what happened at the end. Personally, I wouldn't agree with it, because at the end of the day, the final whistle has been blown. And I know a decision has happened before the whistle was blown. However, the whistle has been blown. If this was the other way around, I don't think we'd be celebrating right now, would we? Let's be honest. I think we'd be furious.
I disagree in the sense that obviously the action happened while play was still live. The referees, it's like, for example, okay, I'll give you an example. If you score a goal at one end, or, sorry, there's a handball at one end, and the other team goes up the other end and then scores, but there was a penalty incident at the other end, you have to rule out that goal. It doesn't matter what happens at the end of that phase of play. And obviously the end of this phase of play was the final whistle. I understand the final whistle is a bit different to other breaks in play, but that happened during the match. And, I don't have the rule book in front of me, but I'll be very concerned with all the VAR and everyone, all the mics up, that rule that he's, given the penalty, it must be the correct decision. I can't see it being the wrong decision. He handballed.
No. I think it's the correct decision. But if it was the opposite way round, I would be complaining. Well, the whistle's been blown at the end of the day. But no, in terms of the performance, shite.
We were crap.
Absolutely shite. Yeah, exactly crap. Shite. Every single time they went down either way, so they went down the left or the right, there was just easily getting in. And the problem was, players like, Greenwood didn't help Wan-Bissaka out at all. It was way too far up. It was way too far up the field, and then he's getting doubled up on. It's 2 against. What can you do against 2 against 1?
Yeah.
It's like you're going into a bar. It's like you're going into a bar with 2 gunmen and you're just there with your fists. It's as simple as that. So you can't really do much in that sense. Even going forward, very lucky.
Martial was crap.
Lucky. Yeah, Martial.
Let me come to Shane. Yeah, what's your thoughts on the game? You said Martial was crap.
I've got to be honest. I'm going to ask you a question. How did we win that? How did we win?
Lucky. Absolutely.
No, it was lucky. It was lucky.
Of Fergie.
How many times did they hit the post? It was about 5 or 6, wasn't it?
5 times. 4 times the post. Oh no, 3 times the post, twice the bar.
Yeah.
But listen, all I can say is luck was with us, but who cares? 3 points.
God was on our side. God was on our side.
So, in terms of the performance, what do you think? What for you was the biggest issue? For me, I said the pressing from the front for me was poor.
Yeah.
When we pressed from the front, we
it always is that.
We were much better. The moment we started sitting back and trying to hit them on a counter attack, that's when we were at our worst.
Yeah, but I felt we played out of the back really bad as well. There was no real philosophy with what we were trying to do. I agree with you that the pressing was poor, but I think that when we were pressing them, they always had the advantage because they always had the wing backs. And when you've got wing backs in the system, your full backs will either have to track them, and if they do that, you leave space in behind. And we all know that Maguire and Lindelof are not the quickest. So the pressing wasn't good. I'm not saying it wasn't, but having said that, I can understand why we were more conservative with it, because if we had went all gun for with the press, then we would have left spaces in behind.
I understand that as maybe how you start the game, but when you realize, especially at the start of the second half, as I said, I think we were pressing in packs. We were going in 2s and 3s and forcing Brighton to go long from the back as opposed to passing their way through. And we created a few openings and got the goal. And I'm like, if you set up at the beginning thinking, oh, they may create chances here, there, but then during the game, you see that the press is working. Why then do we then drop back when we go 2-1 up? You get that second goal. Surely you go to get the third because you need to kill the game, and we didn't kill the game off.
No.
I agree.
No, we didn't kill the game off.
Rashford's goal, though, what a goal.
Yeah.
Jesus.
He was similar to, not exactly the same, but was it Crystal Palace? Where he just sat the men down.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He got a bit lucky. He got a bit lucky with the shot because I don't think it was going in if he didn't take that deflection, but he deserved his luck. So
no, I think it was going in because if it's not, they would. But the fact is, because he was waiting. Of course, I think like 3 or 4 people end up behind him. Easier block. But yeah, I think it was a good move, good pass from Bruno. Cuts inside.
Great movement from Rashford.
Exactly, and as I said, he looked sharper today for me than I've probably seen. I think this is definitely his best game since the little burst in that Southampton game when we got those 2 quick goals at the back end of last season. But since lockdown, he's been very, very iffy, and I think he looked like he's getting better today. Some of the decision making, as I said, between him and Bruno at times still needs to improve, and the execution of like Martial and Pogba wasn't good enough today. And Greenwood, I felt it's because obviously he's a striker playing on the right wing against a back 3, and you've got wing backs. So he in reality, he has to do a lot more work to help his fullback and also go forward. And I just think he was kind of stuck. He wasn't really doing either.
Yeah, but with the Rashford situation, since he's came back from lockdown, he's playing a lot more of a different role because before that horrible injury, he was pretty much our goal scorer, him and Martial, and he would have been playing as pretty much an inside forward. He would have drifted an awful amount to the centre. Since he's came back, Greenwood's the one who's been drifting, and because he's doing that, if Rashford drifts with him, the only way you're gonna create your width is from your fullbacks, and our fullbacks aren't the best at creating.
Oh,
So
crazy. Look at Shaw. Shaw wins that free kick that we scored the equaliser from.
Yeah.
I think he probably made, let's say, to be fair, maybe 3 runs down the outside or inside, but direct runs. 2 of them, I think one of them was found. The other one, Rashford didn't pass. The other one, he wins the free kick. And I'm like, when you see that, that's why I'm not understanding their thought process. You do something, it works. Do it again. Do it again. Yeah. And if Brighton then
that's what such
you find another way. But it's like they'll do something, it works, and then they don't ever do it again.
I think he's afraid of Lamptey. That's the problem.
They need to be afraid of us. We're Manchester United, for God's sake.
Yeah, no, I understand that. But for his run with the penalty, not the penalty, the free kick, he was more in the centre of the field than really out wide. So because he's doing that, he's got cover out wide because Matic will cover him. So with the run, even with Shaw, I think before his injury against Southampton, he was going forward a lot more. He was overlapping. But the thing is, even when he was overlapping, the final passing wasn't there.
Yeah,
I think that's why we need to bring in another left back, because I think that Luke Shaw defensively, I don't have a problem with him. I think he's very, very sound defensively. But I'm not talking about overlapping, but I'm talking about in terms of assists.
Yeah.
I don't think he's the solution. So I think that Telles is needed badly. And not just that. Let's be honest. If we played a better team, we would have got destroyed.
Yeah,
we would have got absolutely destroyed.
Especially that first time, I think it was too easy for us, for Brighton to just go from back to front with no pressure, and we weren't clinical in our passing and decision making in the final third. I said I didn't head out. Final from both here. Comment here from Rodney says, "How can Trossard get man of the match when he hit the post 4 times? Is this a sympathy though?" So for you, lot, who's the man of the match today?
The goalpost.
For United or for the whole game?
For the
goalposts.
For the whole game. For the whole game.
I don't know. I'm just going to go with the United player and go with Matic.
Okay, in terms of United, who do you think was the best player for us, or least worst? Who did you say?
I don't even know who to pick, to be honest.
Matic played well.
Say that again.
Matic played well.
Yeah, Matic. There you go. I'll go for him. I can't even pick one.
He was right.
Matic was one of the better ones out of a bunch of bad apples.
Yeah, it's one of those. It is a tough one. Bruno created a couple of chances, but overall it was great. I mean, Rashford wasn't bad, to be fair.
I thought the first half he was awful.
I think we were all awful in the first half. I think we
always are. We're never good from the start. It's always that second half when we pick it up.
It always seems to be when it goes when we start to react.
That's what I said at the beginning. We concede. So we concede. We go forward straight away, get an equaliser. We start the second half better than we started the first half. We take the lead and we sit back for the rest of the second half. They score in the 95th minute. There's no time remaining. Yeah, we've created 2 openings. Obviously, one that won the corner, and then the corner itself, which won the penalty. In a split second, a 1.5 minute spell, we've created a goal. We had 45 minutes, or let's say 30 minutes after we took the lead. We're too reactive, and it really annoys me. And as you said, a better team today would have got a result. But listen, we got the 3 points. We're off the board in the Premier League. Very important.
Can I just say something though?
Go on.
With Martial, I'm not defending Martial. I thought Martial was one of the worst players on the pitch, but I don't understand why he took Martial off instead of Rashford, because during that time in the game, you need someone who's going to hold the ball up. For me, Rashford's hold-up play isn't particularly that good. And I understand Martial's isn't, but take Rashford off and put Igalo up front, then put Martial on the left where you can have a run.
Igalo wasn't even on the bench, so that's the first thing.
Was he not?
No, he wasn't.
No, he wasn't. Okay. He wasn't on the bench now.
Igalo and Danjay. So yeah,
he put Lingard in there instead.
Bring on Igalo, I agree. However, in that game, Martial wasn't holding the ball up, and Rashford was our biggest attacking threat. So I think the decision today was correct to leave Rashford on. But in theory, yes, Martial, when he's at his best, he holds the ball up much better than Rashford. We saw when Rashford was playing through the middle for us, it wasn't there. But today, Martial was more of a liability than he was an asset. So I'm not I don't have a big issue with him taking him off based on today's performance. But guys, we have to wrap it up there. Thanks for joining me. Thanks for joining me, guys. But yeah, Man United 3 points. Find on the table, in the bag. At least I can enjoy my weekend, even if the performance was not what we all wanted. The result is exactly what we needed. Guys, make sure all of you hit the like button right now. Smash that like button. Hit the subscribe if you have not. Share the video on all your social medias, and I will see you again soon.